Marathon bombings trial is getting underway today after 2 months of jury selection and 2 years after the bombs detonated near the finish line of the Boston Marathon. Opening statements were given this morning in the trial of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. Surviving suspect in the bombings is accused of helping his brother to plan the attack that killed 3 people and seriously injured more than 260 others. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner joining us now live with the latest from federal court in Boston.
Patrick, good afternoon. I just ran out of court so I could be on the air with all of you fine people. Tom Grilk, the head of the Boston Athletic Association, the BAA, he's executive director. Obviously, the BAA organizes the marathon. He is on the stand as the government's first witness. But as you mentioned, at very long last, we are finally off here at Boston Federal Court. The families of the 4 deceased are here. Families of the 260 others are here, and many of the survivors themselves. We will hear from one in a moment. But first, opening statements, as you say, were today from both sides. They started off the morning. The government took 50 minutes, the defense 20. The most graphic descriptions from Prosecutor Bill Weinreb of injuries suffered, I will tell you, very difficult to sit through. That was the government's goal. The defense's strategy is this. Judy Clark conceded the brothers' involvement in these crimes. It took a little bit of air out of the room, but she did. But here is the crux. She and her colleagues will paint Tamerlan as the radicalized mastermind, sweeping the younger Dzhokhar up into his plot. Tamerlan downloaded the Al-Qaeda magazines, bought the bomb materials, shot MIT police officer Sean Collier at point-blank range. That's what Clark says. Clark very much focused on the penalty phase of the trial, which is very much down the road. Now, bombing survivor and Rhode Islander Heather Abbott, who lost a leg in the attack, one of a good number of survivors here today. And here is Abbott now on this trial launching.
I'm certain it'll bring up, a lot of what happened, obviously 2 years ago, and a lot of emotion. So it'll be nice to have it over with.
And here, though, is one problem. It's a curious one for the defense. You heard the narrative they intend to present. Well, this morning, the judge, in addition to denying their 4th request of him to move the trial, he also said he will allow very limited evidence in this guilt phase or main trial phase of Tamerlan's influence over his brother and of Tsarnaev family history. So you might ask, so how does the defense achieve its goal? Well, Judy Clark looked very much forward in her words that she was conveying to the penalty phase of this, when life or death will be weighed, and the defense is essentially owning this subject matter now. It's an interesting approach. Many said it was the right approach for this defense to take, and they are taking it, and we will follow the developments for you. Live in Boston, right near the Moakley Federal Courthouse at this hour, I'm Jared Pliner, Eyewitness News.
And you can count on Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the Marathon bombings trial. Tonight, starting live at 5, you can get updates, of course, anytime online at WPRI.com.